mental health for me has been a really difficult roller coaster, I guess, because I'll have time periods of feeling fine, which is great, and like life in that period is awesome, and then like really low points kind of just going on constantly. So trying to predict mental health can be difficult, I think, and trying to recognize when you're not doing well has been a process. But I think for me and my mental health my mental health journey, like just trying to figure out when I'm actually not okay has been, I think, the biggest challenge.
It has made me very sensitive to a lot of stuff. In a way, it forced me to become more accepting of myself, because for a little bit there, I wasn't my own biggest fan, and there were a lot of people around me who were not good for me.
I mean, society is only as great as our weakest link, and I think that people that suffer from mental illness do need to be taken care of, because if you let them slip by the wayside, it's just, I mean, other than the fact that it's just tragic, in my opinion, to leave people like that out of life. When everybody's functioning, it's just a lot calmer of a place to live, I think, and a lot healthier of a place to live when everybody's taken care of.
There have been times in my life, especially when I was a whole lot less mature, that it kind of took over, and it just, I wasn't in control of my thoughts. I wasn't in control of like what I was doing, what I was thinking, and it just kind of ran wild, and it took a while for me to kind of rope myself back in, rope my head back in. It's definitely more subdued nowadays. It doesn't really affect me as often or as much, but still, deal with it. I still struggle with it every now and again. It was in struggling through that I realized that the only person that I can count on to be there for me at all times, regardless, is myself. So in a way, it kind of brought me closer to myself, but in a way, it also kind of distanced myself. And I struggle with a lot of issues with my own self-image.
If you have a problem, you're crazy, because that sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks trying to talk to somebody that doesn't get it, and they're like, oh, why don't you just be happy or be less stressed or be less anxious? And it's just, I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, when there's a chemical imbalance in your brain, you can't just flip that. It's not a switch you can flip.
Things that everybody goes through with it in one way or another. Everybody deals with it, and we don't talk about it enough. We don't do enough about it because it's so widespread that we should be paying more attention to it.
You don't worry about stuff as much as you do when you're an adult. Life would be great if we were all like that. We didn't worry about what someone was going to just think of us. We just walked up.
It affects everybody.
It's the one universal
the unfortunate universal disease. Yeah, it regardless of who you are, who you know somebody, whether it's yourself or someone you care about, that struggles with something.
It kind of made me feel self-conscious, like I was a weaker person because I had I struggled with my mental health.
It got pretty lonely, and then if you get lonely and you have mental health issues, it can get pretty dark pretty quick.
Yeah.
So definitely my childhood probably could have been more enjoyable if it wasn't for it. My struggles with mental health definitely proved that I need to be there for myself when no one else is going to be.
You need to put yourself in your own corner.
Yes, it's exactly it.
Just had a lot of talking about it out loud with other people that I trusted to make me realize that, first of all, you're not alone ever. There's always somebody that's also going through stuff. And second of all, you're not weak because you have something that's bothering you.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, the more you can talk about it and, be completely honest with yourself and others, the more that we're going to just decrease stigma for both other people that don't have mental illness and people that do have mental illness. Just because when you feel alone and isolated, it's not helpful. But when you start talking and having a conversation about it, you realize, oh, I'm not weak. Oh, I'm not, alone. I'm not the only one feeling whatever way I'm feeling. So
it shouldn't be taboo to live with mental health issues. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to hide it. You should be able to say, oh yeah, I struggle with this, and people should be able to just, give you, the time of day, listen to you, hear you out and not judge you in any way for dealing with something that's really hard to deal with and that not very many people understand because they don't think it's that big of a deal.
You know, keep yourself, in mind. Self-care is important. You treat yourself the way you want to be treated and the way you would want others to be treated, and don't let people treat you in a way that you wouldn't, tolerate, I think. That's what I've learned the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, I'm gonna treat myself nicely now. It's time.
Developing a good relationship kind of with yourself, with your image, with your, not even necessarily with your image, but just with the person that you are and the person you're becoming. That is really, really, really important if you want to ease some of the pressure that will be brought upon by your own head. Selective over who you allow into your life and how deep you allow them to sow their roots into your life, just because it's very easy to get hurt, and it's very easy for those people to hurt more than they help. So, having a very, very small group of just wonderful people that you feel comfortable with and are not going to abandon you, that's really, really, really helpful, especially when you're not in the best place. They will do everything they can to bring you back to where you should be.
Hi there. I'm Sam Sorrells. I was the videographer, creator, interviewer for this project. So I wanted to, first of all, my deepest of gratitudes to Juan Garcia and Janie Hamilton, who were in this, my interviewees who were so willing and open to give their life story and their experience with mental health. And it's one of the hardest things that you can do, which is opening up about something that's so personal and raw in your life to the internet and the idea of potentially being criticized for not being strong enough, not being willing enough to talk about it more, or willing enough to just deal with it. So again, I cannot thank them enough for being willing to open up and take what I edit and all of that good stuff. So again, thank y'all. I love you guys so very much. But I also wanted to come on to here as an afterword of my little interviewing documentary or mockumentary kind of thing, to explain the fact that if you're struggling with mental health, there are so many options that you can go to. You can go to a therapist, you can call the hotlines, you can talk to a friend, you can talk to a loved one. Please don't struggle with this alone. I can tell you personally that struggling alone with it is detrimental and honestly life-threatening if it can get to a certain point. So if you're ever struggling, please reach out. It can be hard, but it will be worth it in the end. As a way to describe what the B-roll or the other footage on top of the actual interviewing was, I wanted to kind of give a perspective behind it because it might seem weird. I swear to God, I don't have a foot fetish. My kind of message that I wanted to put behind it was that you don't know somebody until you've walked a mile in their shoes. So one of my key facets of this project was filming me walking, because you don't really understand somebody's journey of mental health and their viewpoint and their experience with it until you've actually talked to them and discussed their life story and gotten to walk a mile in their shoes, which is kind of what I wanted to do with this, because of course this is all about mental health and it's all about opening up and talking about it. So I wanted that to be the rawest and kind of most metaphorical point of my B-roll. The other aspects of it were just portions that I found, like parts of self-care, like lighting candles and greenery. I am very big into nature because I think that's the truest way to get back to your roots, and the easiest way to let go is going back to nature. But I wanted to give a big thank you to every single person that watched this and supported me through this project and my blog, and just being willing to talk to me about their experience with mental health. I can't thank y'all enough, and I can't thank all of the people in my life that have supported me since day one with my own journey through mental health, because my own personal experience and how I've been having to go through it, which you can find out more if you want to read my blog, which we'll probably link below. But I wanted to thank every single person who helped me with that. And I can't express my gratitude enough for everything. So to the viewer watching this, thank you so much for watching it and supporting what I've created. And I hope everybody can find a way to properly express their mental health without fear of judgment. Thank y'all.